How much are they giving out now?
I think it's still 10,000.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta also account for like now AI
That
is
won't
gonna
even
be
that won't.
changing the game on that. They
No,
can
you
can-
fabricate all of that
You
now.
can, but you can also
AI does
detect
not
that.
know how to get hit in the nuts.
Dude, $20 is $20, okay? Why are we...
I actually agree with
Breaking it
that. I
down.
don't think AI knows how to get hit in the nuts
Yeah.
and portray that accurately.
Welcome to the Purgatorious Pig Tavern podcast, the Dungeons & Dragons craft beer podcast. This is week 7 of our fantasy beer draft, the final week. And this week we are drafting Belgians.
Brought to you by Tums, but not really.
Right, should have ate a few.
Quick recap of where the standings are. Cole is sitting in first place. Christina is in second. Scott's in third. Eric's in fourth. And Aaron is in 5th place. Just remember, Aaron has not used her flex spot yet and will be cashing in those extra potential 80 points this week. So she will make up a lot of ground with that. Let's dive into it.
All right, with the first Belgian off the board, this is Christina's pick, the Avery Brewing's Island Rascal in the 3rd round, 4th pick. Christina, can you tell us why?
Why?
Yeah, so this is a version of the flagship White Rascal from Avery. I chose this one because, well, the White Rascal is fantastic. I really like the juiciness of the Island Rascal. It's kind of a different taste for a Belgian. I also am not one to go super big when it comes to ABVs. I have a hard time with Belgians, but this one specifically is only 5.4%. So it's, Belgian style white ale brewed with passion fruit and spices. You can definitely, I think, taste the passion fruit in there. And it's just a nice little twist or change up for a Belgian style ale. Shout out to Avery. I love you.
Talk about Avery a lot on here.
Yeah.
It is one of the best breweries, in my opinion, in the country.
Now, the White Rascal, that's their regular Belgian white?
Yes, that's their flagship. So if you see like the little, rascal guy with like 2 little horns, he's got kind of a creepy face. That's on like most of their signs, most of their branding. That's their flagship is the White Rascal.
This is good.
Fruity,
Yeah.
citrusy.
Definitely.
I don't typically like Belgians that much because I find they hurt my stomach, but like a Belgian white is pretty good. I always like a pretty decent Belgian white, like an Allagash, which is not part of today's thing. But this extra amount of fruit to it really kind of bridges the gap between like a really good sour and a really good Belgian. And I think this is a really good take on it. I wonder if like a little bit of sea salt or something would just enhance the flavor a bit or make it worse. I don't know.
I think it would mellow out.
You could add it.
mellow out that the bite a little bit from the citrus. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Definitely, yeah.
So what makes it an Island Rascal versus
Probably the passion fruit
probably
and spices.
Is there spice? Is there heat?
Probably.
No,
like-
coriander.
Yeah, it's Rocky Mountain water, barley, wheat, passion fruit, coriander, orange peel, hops, and Belgian yeast.
At Rocky Mountain Water,
Yeah.
Cole, you want to tell us about how clean the water
Yeah.
is?
Not that again.
Dude, so refreshing.
Now, this is really light compared to most other Belgians, right? I think that the passion fruit, as everyone said, has definitely cut into that heavy feeling a lot of Belgians have, though that's also typically if I'm in the mood for a Belgian, that's sort of what I'm looking for. So this is a pleasant surprise, but also maybe not necessarily what I'd look for in a Belgian, but it's still delicious.
Yeah, this almost falls into a different category from other beers that we'll be tasting today. But
Yeah.
Palate
So
mashers.
palate delicious.
To hop off that point, though, I think it's a really refreshing way to start the Belgian episode, honestly. At 5.4 ABV, it's really light, and the fruitiness just really opens the palate up a lot. I think it's a great way to kick it off, honestly. It's chill, light, very delicious. I think I resonate with all the other comments everybody else has made. It's very, very good. we used to regularly keep this, and now that I know we can get it out here in Wisconsin, shout out to Island Rascal in Wisconsin. If you're in the Midwest, you can find it. It's one of those beers I think we'll probably keep around. The only beef that I have is I noticed one time I drank like 6 of them in a row.
Oh, okay.
And I got a little rot. But I mean, anything will do that to you in 6s. So, but no, I think it's a fantastic beer. I love this beer, and I love White Rascal and Avery.
I agree with you it's a really great way to start, and I think that it would also be a really great way to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like when you build a set list for your show, you start with your second best, and then you close with your best. So I don't know if this is the best, but it's certainly a really great way to start, and also could be a really great way to finish.
This is going to be a tough crowd because a lot of you don't like the boozy Belgian.
I'm rating it on the
beers.
style. I've had
Yeah.
enough of the style to know. I'm gonna rate it. I'm gonna be fair. And I'm gonna be honest.
I love the boozy. I just can't drink too much in the samples.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thanks for picking this in the 3rd round, Christina.
Hey, that was the first one, right?
Yeah, it was the first Belgian
one
off the board.
She picked it early because she knew I was going to grab it.
Oh.
And I think we nixed derivatives too, right? Like you can't do derivatives in the same.
Yeah, we did that,
Yeah.
and then
Draft.
I think someone else picked one of yours. So I'm excited for your selection because it was totally out of spite. You were
Blue Moon?
No, I think his pick was out of desperation. He's like, I don't.
It really was because
No,
I had Island Rascal, and then I was going to pick Delirium, and
Yeah,
I
you're-
picked too late.
Yeah, everyone kept picking them, and I'm pretty sure if we go back to that show, that recording, you hear Cole saying, "Well, screw you guys, I'm gonna pick this one."
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to the draft episode, go back and listen to the draft
You
episode.
probably should if you're this far in.
Hear Cole throw a little temper tantrum.
Definitely, yeah. And honestly, I don't gravitate to Belgians. And we recently went to Bruges, and we were there and tried the Belgian Zot, which is probably the greatest Belgian I've ever had. But maybe part of that was because we were in Belgium when I tried it. But
Pretty sure it was like the 4th Belgian beer we had that day.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I, since then, have had kind of a hankering for them. So I've been drinking a lot of Belgians, and now I'm kicking myself for being such an idiot and not having a good repertoire of Belgians in my pocket, because there are plenty of great Belgians out there that check us out in Fantasy Draft Season 2, because we'll have to go a little bit off record here because we got all the readily available average ones that people latch onto here, right?
No, I think we got some of them. I think we did a pretty good job of. It was mostly like what we could get and what we thought would be good. Season 2, I think we'll have a better thing. But what you're saying is you leveled up there. Is what you're saying.
I did. I leveled up my Belgian experience.
So the beers that you had over there, can you get any of them here?
No.
Yeah, I mean we had Delirium. I had Delirium
Yeah.
on tap because I was like, I wonder if it tastes any different this close to.
I meant some of the other stuff.
Oh, the stuff that
Yeah,
you can't
no,
get
you- no, you
here,
can.
can you get it here?
No,
The
can you
answer's
get
no.
it at OEC?
No.
OEC maybe.
What?
Yeah.
OEC has got a really weird distribution license.
Mm-hmm.
They have a really interesting setup there that they get a lot of unique one-off things, such as German-style beers that only local towns in Germany can get.
Mm-hmm.
Some Australian beers I've never seen before, other than at OEC.
Yeah. That
So-
was the. If you go back and listen to the Johnny B episode, that was he came back and was like, "This is my local brewery in Germany. You can only get it there. How the hell do you have it at Amity Wine?" It's because it was from OEC.
Yeah, I think the Zot was that the one, or that was where we had Zot it was a brewery in Bruges, and they had a 3-mile pipeline outside of the city to bring the beer directly in. So they brewed it outside of the city and then had a pipeline directly into their tap
Wow.
room.
Yeah.
And there's a part of the road where they put, a little glass thing
Window,
over it.
plexiglass,
So you
yeah.
could see the pipe coming in. It was pretty cool.
Did you guys get a picture of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat though. It was interesting. We were talking to some people there, and one of the really, really tough logistic thing was, I think that there was one point where they said that they were putting in a parking structure of some sort within that 3 miles, and the parking structure couldn't go in a location because the pipe was already there or something. Like there's some funky things that they had to do because that pipe already exists, and when they try to build more infrastructure, it interrupted or caused some deviations. It was funny.
You just gotta tap into that.
There's just a tap in the parking garage.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
That's pretty awesome.
it's fascinating.
That's a lot of beer to fill up too.
It is, yeah, over that whole length.
And they got to have it like always.
Pressurized and everything.
No, but always
Moving.
full and moving.
Moving, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, the engineering behind it is fascinating.
I mean, the place was banging, man. There were so many people in there.
Yeah,
Maybe they have to have the tap just running when they go to bed at night or leave at the night.
maybe.
You know? Yeah. I don't know. Good point about it. We needed to be moving.
Are you guys ready for the next one?
Yeah.
The next Belgian taken off the board was my pick. In the fourth round, the fourth pick, I picked, I'm going to butcher the name of the brewery, so I'm not going to say it, but Delirium Tremens. So if you know the Pink Elephant, this is it. I chose this beer because I don't particularly like Belgians too much, but I know that this one's pretty decent, and I know that it probably would have been picked if I didn't do it. And I kind of wanted to steal something off the board.
Which he did.
Yep.
Which he did.
And so, yeah, cheers.
This clocks in a little higher.
8.5%.
That's it?
Yeah.
8.5%. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, 8.5?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said 6.5.
No, 8.5.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. 6.5.
Do you have any anything about the naming?
It's something about like a hallucination, right? Do you know?
Tremens is like the symptom. It's one of the things you get from alcohol poisoning. So it's like a joke to say, not a joke. Which it's definitely not a joke. Definitely take that seriously. But if you have so much of it, it's like it puts you in this.
Tremens state.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's literally the name is alcohol withdrawal symptoms.
that's it.
Yeah. If you're an alcoholic, these are the kind of symptoms you get: the shaking, confusion, hallucinations. I'm reading this.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I think they have delirium nocturnum too, which is a little bit darker, which is kind of the same line ish.
Interesting. I never knew that.
I guess I'll go first because I'm already talking. So delirium tremens, I would probably award with like the first Belgian beer that I've ever tried. When I was in school, one of my good friends studied abroad in Belgium, and when she came back, we had a little party, and she brought this beer. I was like, yeah, I'm just really craving, some of the really great Belgian beers that I had there. And that's where she told me the story of the name and a little bit on the brewery and just how amazing this beer is. And yeah, this was pretty much my introduction to Belgians.
I'm not going to ask how old you were. I'm going to ask how you liked it at the time.
I loved it. I mean, I had never really had a sweet beer like this. This was I was 21. This was in, 2013, 2012. And, so you think of what type of beer was available, craft beers at the time and everything. I didn't have anything that was really sweet. And it was a complete flavor blast. Like at that point, I had Keystone Light and some really, really, really hoppy and malty IPAs. And that was probably the extent of my beer drinking at that time. So this was just completely out of the world for me. I loved it. And I still do. I still think it's a fantastic beer. Personally, maybe I'm biased because it was my first beer, but I do think that when people drink or think of Belgian beers, this one, Chimay is another one that I think we'll be drinking, are like the first that always come to mind when I think of just classic Belgian style ales.
I think before I met you, and you were a big fan of Tremens, and based on your story, obviously you really grew to enjoy it after having it the first time. Golden Drock was actually the one that I had drank prior to us being together. So again, another one that's on the list. This is why I said that I think we really hit the high points, like the most common points here on this one. Maybe not, but that's how I felt.
That's literally the next pick in the draft.
Shh. No, it's not. We got to introduce it. I think this is a really good beer. It's like a golden ale, Belgian golden ale. It's beautiful in color. I'm pretty sure it was nominated and won awards as the best beer in the world a couple times. Am I making that up?
No, I'm pretty sure.
It's got a great yeast to it. Like I really like the yeast flavor. It's kind of like a bready with a like pear almost tasting notes. So smooth, very delicious. I think every time I drink this beer, I really just want to have some fine cheese. This is a beer that I think goes great with cheese.
A charcuterie board. maybe.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
a charcuterie board. Oh yeah, best beer in the world in 1997. Won a gold medal at the World of Beer Championships in Chicago in 1998. So highly awarded.
Worldwide.
How long have they been brewing? Does it say on the thing?
The family brewery since 1654.
Oh,
Yeah,
So not that long.
That's
a few years.
a few years.
I didn't realize that until when Cole was pouring this. I was looking at the back of the bottle and it says Family Brewery. I didn't realize that. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and all the bottles are coated in ceramic to help prevent light from penetrating the bottle.
Oh, is that what that is?
Pretty sure it's ceramic, yeah.
Aaron, do you know when you go back to the origins of beer and like the monks like brewing beer centuries ago, wasn't it typically on like the Belgian style?
Do I know this?
Like, yeah, isn't that where like Chimay? Isn't that like wasn't that a monk?
Yes.
Right.
Well, there is a
Well,
whole sect that is devoted to brewing beer. Oh, is this because I was going to do a beer fast at one point in my life?
What? No.
No, just because you
But a
are.
beer
I
fast.
think you probably are the biggest fan of Belgians out of all five of us. I
Yeah.
figure if anybody knew, you would know like the origins of the Belgian style.
Belgium.
Belgium style. The Belgium style beers.
Oh.
Belgian or Belgium?
Sorry.
Not this again.
So it's the Trappist monks are one of the most well-known sects of monkistries that
Monasteries.
monasteries that have several locations around the globe, actually in the U.S. and Belgium. There are two in the U.S.
Which are they?
One was,
Was the one in Massachusetts and it's gone.
well, let me tell you what it was. Spencer, yeah. No, I knew that. Yeah, I think Spencer is gone. I think there's one other.
The Lost.
That was
Abbey.
good off the top of your head, though.
Starts with a
Well played.
SRT. No, it starts with a T. But yeah, no, Spencer and in terms of-
Spencer's was the only one in 2022 when it closed.
they opened way before that, though.
Checking the SmithsonianAssociates.org, Belgian beer dates back to the First Crusade, long before Belgium became an independent country, as French and Flemish abbeys brewed and sold the beverage as means to raise funds. During the 7 centuries that followed, the traditional artisanal brewing methods known today evolved and were heavily influenced by Belgium's abbey breweries.
Yeah, and like we saw in Germany, but that's a different style of beer in Bavaria.
Yeah.
It's monasteries, monks usually take up brewing beer. I think it's the wild yeasts and the Belgian beers the Belgian style beers that give it that kind of funky, delicious, like it depends on where you are, obviously, but it gives it that bready, heavy kind of alcoholic flavor and undertone. Tremens, I mean, I'm not going to give my rating away right now, but the only thing that it could maybe get higher than this is Golden Drac, the one next to it, underneath it, which has been described as God's tears by some. So I think this is it's a delicious beer. It's not as boozy flavored as I would like it to be, but the moment I first sipped it, like for the first time after Scott poured it just now, I was like, I could drink maybe 2 of these and be very happy.
I could drink two.
Right away. 2 of these, very happy. It was just delicious. It was very different from the Avery Brewing, which would be like a hot day sitting out in the sun. I want an Avery beer. But you drink this and you're transported to oak wood table next to a fire.
Dank
Yeah.
bar.
No,
Yeah,
opposite.
yeah.
With a charcuterie
In a
board in front of
basement.
you.
Basement, yeah.
Yeah, some
Cobblestone
stones,
floor.
cobblestone floors, and
Are you describing the pig?
no, I'm
Purgatory's
describing
pig.
with a charcuterie board in front of you and some good company.
Yeah.
It's this
Some
beer.
rolled prosciutto and some nice fine
Some
cheese.
prosciutto.
Now I'm transported too.
Yeah.
Dark, dank basement.
It's like a loaf of sourdough in every bottle.
Oh, yummy.
All right, I'm done.
This to me is more what I expect when I drink a Belgian style beer. It's yeasty, it's heavy, it's very full bodied. This is also one of the ones where, very early on in craft beer drinking days, this was pretty readily available most places, be it liquor stores or on draft. I've seen it on draft fairly often at places, which is shocking. So usually when I see it, I usually get at least a pour of it. Yeah, this hits all the right notes for a Belgian ale.
Yeah, I remember a lot of bars used to have this. Those same bars don't, but that's
Bars.
because the local craft scene has gotten a lot better, and there's way
Yeah.
more readily available things that people want. But there is a fantastic bar in New York down in the Lower East Side that is a Belgian bar only. They always have this on tap. They always have Golden Dragon Chimay, and they serve it in the proper glassware.
Actually, what I was thinking of when I was drinking this beer was this place. It's like very dark.
It is dark,
Yeah.
yeah. What's it called?
Dark dank basement.
No, it is basement E.
Vol de Nuit.
Volne de Nuit.
Yeah, it's actually right around the corner from the Blind Tiger, another fantastic beer bar if you're ever in New York City. But that place is super dank, super dark. It's like got kind of like a red hue to the whole thing. And then they just
That's the fireplace.
yeah. yeah, right. But it's a really
feel
good bar.
like-
Definitely
it's
worth
like-
a stop.
Like being in the red light district, more less stone, more brick.
I feel like we really didn't utilize the beer bar vibe when we were in New York. We were always looking for cocktails and good food. We never went to like beer bars, and there's a ton of beer bars in New York.
Yeah, but like if you're in New York, you guys didn't go that often, did you?
We went a dozen times.
I mean, I was working down there for a
Christina
year.
worked down there. Yeah.
But like New York is known for cocktails, so it's like doesn't mean when you come back we can always take you there.
Yeah, we need to spend a week in Connecticut now.
Yeah.
Should we move on?
All right, so with the very next pick in the draft, possibly a spite pick because I picked Scott's Belgian pick. Scott came back, 5th pick, 4th round, Golden Drac.
I wouldn't say was a spite pick. You definitely, Delirium was definitely up there on my list of Belgians to take. I think this is what you would call like when someone takes the first defense off the board and then you see a run of defenses go because everyone gets panicky that they're not going to get their defense, or quarterback goes and a run of quarterbacks happens. I think that's what happened here.
I don't know the defense really starts a streak, but
It's like kickers, dude.
I didn't want to not get a top tier Belgian after you took Delirium. So yeah, I took Golden Drac. This is a heavy hitter at 10.5%. Because, we'll keep running with this joke. I'm a professional.
How do you guys always have corks in those?
Oh no! Why did you get it such a big bottle?
That's the only ones they had.
That's all they
this
had.
Is yeah, and we have the same for the Chimay too.
So we'll see
Did
you
your
guys
Total
next year.
Wine not have the small bottles?
Total Wine, actually, yeah, 2020 hindsight. We went to this one place because we didn't know if they would have. We knew that this place would probably have these, but this is all they had. And then we were at Total Wine one day, and I'm pretty sure we called that out. Like, yeah, we probably could have got little bottles.
So yeah, this one's a different style Belgian. This one's a dark red triple. So we've had a kind of a standard Belgian with the Delirium, and then a fruity or lighter version with the Island. So this is, dark red. It's, to me, up there as one of the best Belgians out there, styles of a Belgian out there.
I love Golden Drac. So this is the first Belgian that I had ever. Like I mentioned, this was how I got introduced to Belgians. I randomly purchased a bottle because it looked like fun. And actually, it wasn't the red. It was, they have a darker version, right? It's
There are different
it's in a really-
versions. Yeah.
yeah, it's like in a really dark bottle with a
Yep.
golden foil on the top.
The Golden Drac 9000.
I don't
The
actually-
quad at, it's the Golden Drac 9000. It's the quad. It's
Yeah.
the quad.
Yeah.
That was probably it. I love this. I absolutely love the red ale. I love reds. I love amber beers. And this, like, you can taste the yeast. Like, if you were to let this sit, it's going to continue to ferment a little bit because you really get that yeasty flavor. It feels like the yeast is, you can feel it in your mouth, on your tongue, and I love that. Similar experience. Obviously, all the Belgians are going to be the Belgians that are more close to the to traditional are going to have that bready, yeasty flavor. This one, I feel like it's a good blend of the Delirium, and to me, I taste like citrusy notes. I don't know. It's weird. I find it absolutely phenomenal. It's hard for me to quantify how this taste is to me, but
Oh, God's tears.
that's how I feel.
Probably.
Close.
I think it's actually translated to Golden Dragon, but
No. But that's how it tastes, though. Maybe it tastes like a dragon's tears.
never
Maybe.
had those before. So
No.
Dragons are extinct, aren't they?
Eric's
No? Okay.
is shaking his head yes, but he won't admit it out loud.
Is he Googling it right now?
No.
Are dragons extinct? Hey, Google. Not a sponsor.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite beers. I don't drink enough anymore there's only one left when I went to pick it up at Total Wine the other day.
Not a sponsor.
Yeah. Wouldn't matter. Wouldn't get anything from them anyway. Uh, but I love this beer. I think, yeah, the booziness, the sweetness from the booze hits you a little bit after and like lingers, and it's so delicious. That's why I love this beer so much.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit more than the Tremens and the yeast flavor, and it's just the fullness of flavors that you get swirling around and as you drink this. To me, it makes it one of the more perfect beers you can drink. But a lot of people, it's not a style that is loved by many.
Many. Jinx.
Are you looking at me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
heard you were looking for me.
This is better than I remember. I'm actually really kind of surprised at how complex the palate is. I'm getting hints of like cherry and apple at the end of it, which is really interesting. And I know it's coming from the yeast, and that's what is always like, I don't know about that. But this is very different than I remember. But probably because maybe because my palate wasn't refined enough when I was doing the Belgian circuit, because that's what we had for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're drinking with friends.
No, it's that I think that was the same time as the IPA palate masher craze, which I think probably is in like direct juxtaposition to this. So if I was going to go, 120-minute IPA and then do this and then go back to something similar, like something crazy like Stone, and then back to a Delirium at a bar, probably not going to end well. I'm going to be like, oh, I hate all these beers.
Yeah, exactly.
You're passing out at the bar.
Murdering.
No. I was the
As
next.
you're falling asleep.
It's more the next day being like, oh. Anyway, we got a little bit of rot there, but this is really good. I think it's a lot smoother than I remember it, but I don't understand why there's like a Chinese dragon on the front if it's a Belgium.
So the beer is named in honor of the dragon perched atop the belfry in Ghent, Belgium.
Ghent.
A symbol of power, and Ghent, Belgium. Ghent, Belgium. A symbol of power and independence. I apologize to everybody who I offended by butchering that. So it's a dragon that's perched. It's actually a monument.
Okay, so why is there a Chinese dragon in Ghent or Gent or Hent?
I don't think
That's
it's
not
a
the dragon's name. That's where it is in Belgium.
That's what I said.
And it's not Chinese. It doesn't look Chinese at all.
It looks like that.
It looks more like a Viking style ship dragon than it does Chinese.
Totally.
Like a Chinese New Year dragon?
It's a symbol of power and independence. That's why they have it.
I don't know why we're trying to assign a country to this dragon.
I think that's why I was like, I don't think they make good beer in China. I'm not going to get this beer.
Oh,
I think that's
really
why I never bought
weird.
it. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
I was like, what do they know about Belgians?
Oh, damn.
They might know more than us. You don't know that. It's the 21st century, Eric. Anybody can know anything.
Dragons might be part of many different cultures.
Yeah, ain't you ever seen Reign of Fire?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this one is definitely, it fits more of the color profile of what I would expect from a Belgian. Like it's definitely it's definitely darker than the other two that we've had. I totally agree with Eric and the cherry piece, but I also feel like the kind of cherry undertones are what I expect from most Belgians. After drinking two lower ABV beers and then drinking this one, I was like, oof, wow, at first sip.
You're welcome.
But after a bit, it really mellows out. You kind of just get used to it, and it doesn't feel like you're inhaling alcohol every single sip. You actually do get more flavor than anything, and I like it. It's a good Belgian. It's a really good beer.
Does it get better as it warms?
We'll find out.
I think most Belgians typically do. the yeast opens up a little bit more and the flavors almost mellow out. Typically, if you let a Belgian sit, it's also why I think they're typically served in a goblet style glass or a snifter style glass where you hold it.
Oh, okay.
So your hand
Surface
can kind of
area.
warm it up if you are drinking it cooler than it probably should be served. I wouldn't be shocked if we looked these up and these all should have been served in that like 44-degree temp range, Fahrenheit temp range.
44C.
44C, yeah.
Lightly microwaved.
The perfect mac and cheese.
That's good beer.
So all right. So what is next? We have. Oh,
Opa.
jeez.
Was that loud?
No, there's just like another corked one. Oh my god.
Yeah, you jealous or what?
A little bit.
Yeah, very.
Scott said he's a professional, but I think we know who the real professionals are.
Wow.
The next beer that we're going to do is Erin's first Belgian pick. She chose it fifth pick in the 7th round, so it dropped
Because-
pretty far down.
My other picks were taken at that point.
Right. So this is another spite pick, and she
I
chose
feel that.
Bière de Chimay Bleu. I assume that's how they say it.
Blah.
Blah.
Blah. It's funny, we're getting progressively darker.
Yeah, that's true.
Just in time for the next one.
Yeah.
Get a little break.
So this one comes in at 9%.
Tell us a little about this.
Oh, me? No, I have nothing. I have no like real ties to this beer like I do the other two, as far as where it fell in my beer drinking experiences, except that I know it's a very good, well-renowned brewery that brews good Belgian beers. I like the fact that it is on the darker side, and I would say that this one isn't coming in as full-bodied and flavored as the previous one we drank, but it's still very good, solid, smooth beer.
So you may need to look this up, and I think this will be good content. Do you know the difference between the Chimay red, white, and blue?
America.
America.
Enlighten us. No.
Go ahead, tell us. Wait, you gotta look this up?
Yeah, I thought it'd just be good content. Yeah, I don't, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is also
Oh.
one of the Trappist beers. So it's,
How long have they been brewing?
I'm sure longer than we've been alive. 1862.
That's it?
Yeah.
Even Anchor's been around since 1896.
Mm.
That's, wow. When you put that in perspective. But this is Chimay. It's just one of the Trappist breweries.
This is Chimay.
This is just Chimay. Of the
It's a Chimay.
Trappists. Of the Trappists. It's not
Okay.
maybe the oldest.
But I got the answer.
With
So
Chimay.
between Chimay red, white, and blue, you get progressively higher ABV. So red is 7, white is 8, blue is 9. The red, apparently some regard as the finest beer in the world. It's
Oh,
actually
no.
brewed by the Trappist monks, which is one of 5 such breweries in the world.
Mhm.
Talked about that earlier. Rich and hearty, but also sweet, well-balanced, and interesting. It is one of the few beers that actually improves with age. I'd like to
Because
counter
it's-
that. I feel
because
like
it's
we
bottle
age a lot of
conditioned.
beers. Oh yeah. The bottle, it is bottle conditioned. That's right. White, it appears a light orange color and has a very bitter taste. It is the most hopped and driest of the 3 classic Chimay beers. And then blue is a copper brown beer with a creamy head and a slightly bitter taste. This is considered to be the quote-unquote classic Chimay ale. It has considerable depth of fruity, peppery character, and it continues to evolve and develop after several years of age. From what I'm reading here, the blue is the most popular.
I mean, for the record, ours is aged 2 years
Ours
in the bottle
is
from when we got it.
not.
Because we took so long to do this.
Ours is not
There you
aged.
go. It worked out.
I mean, technically, ours aged a year on the shelf and then a year in our cellar.
So I got to disagree with Aaron here. I think that this has just as much body and flavor as the other
Oh.
traditional Belgians.
Well, no, not traditional.
The ones that we've had.
The ones we've had.
Yeah, I think it has just about as much as that. I get the cherry notes that I never got before, but I got them here and I got them in the last beer. It's just slightly darker than the Golden Drac, and I don't think that there's much of a difference between the two.
I think
To be
it
honest?
tastes. No, I think it doesn't. It looks darker, but I don't think it tastes.
It's not. It's less sweet than the last one.
Yes, and for the darkness, I would somehow expect it to be more sweet. So maybe it's the sweetness
Yeah,
that I expect
but
this to have.
this is really good. It's
It is really good. I'm not taking it
been a
back.
long time since I went down this train, but maybe I should have revisited it at some point.
I've been trying to. I've been trying.
Yeah, but then the next day I'm like, oh nope, never again.
I'm like, what about that tripel on the board?
So I remember drinking Chimay actually quite a bit in college. There was a bar that opened up where I went to school in Rochester, New York. It's no longer open anymore.
What's it called?
It was called Lovin' Cup. It was like a weird, like,
Oh, scratch that.
it was like a weird coffee / like sandwich shop that also had beer.
Like really good beer?
Yeah, and they would
Interesting.
yeah, it was a really weird combination. But they'd cycle through the different Chimays. You'd go in one week and blue would be available. A couple weeks later, red. A couple
How were
weeks
their
later.
sandwiches?
For a college kid, they were good. I don't know if they've held up as my palate's gotten.
I mean, if you're in college and you're like, I like this Chimay stuff, the sandwiches had to be okay, right?
Right. I think Chimay Blue is a great example of a Belgian style beer, right? If you had to pick one brewery that made them, probably Chimay in terms of the OGs, people would recognize outside of like your Belgian whites that are mainstream.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think this is a solid pick.
Yeah. So I don't like this one that much compared to the other ones, if I'm totally honest. So it is different. It's like an unfiltered taste, and I don't know if I like that very much. Also, I was curious about a little bit more of the history of it, and I guess the Chimay Blue started as a Christmas beer in 1956. So it hasn't been being brewed as long as the brewery's been around. Part of what makes it the Christmas beer is it has mulling spices in it, apparently, from what I'm reading now. Which makes sense because I absolutely despise mulling spices. I hate mulled wine.
Damn.
What spices?
Mulling spices. So
Mulling.
you would hate his
Star anise.
star
that
anise,
kinda stuff.
cinnamon, cloves. Cloves would be like the big one that people would turn people off.
Oh.
Cloves, anise,
Yeah.
peppercorn, cardamom pods, allspice, and dried orange peel and cinnamon sticks, which I like a lot of those individually, but together in alcohol isn't my favorite.
Yeah, especially if they're overdone, because some of those can have a very drying or numbing effect.
For sure, yeah.
Not the
But
10%
so
alcohol.
yeah,
No, not that.
the combination of the unfiltered taste and I think some of the spices that were added just doesn't taste all that great to me personally. It's still a great Belgian, and as you guys have said, I mean, it's got a steep history. It's very representative of the style, and it's different in its own right from the other ones in that it's a darker version of the Belgian. So I appreciate it from that respect, but it's not a beer I would drink regularly on my own if we hadn't been tasting it here. So
This is why I should have gone for one of the other two earlier in the draft.
It's okay. You got a flex.
You mean by the other two, the Island Rascal, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, Christina. The Island Rascal was one of my top.
actually, she's talking about the Island Rascal and the Blue Moon.
Oh, we'll get to that one soon.
Now that I'm tasting it again after going through the list of mulling spices, because I never really knew what the mulling spices were, I really taste star anise, and I absolutely don't like that. So maybe that's what I just don't like. But I can taste it a lot now that I'm coming back to it.
I don't know what star anise tastes like by itself.
It's like licoricey.
It's very
Oh,
licorice.
yeah.
Ah,
Numbing.
star anise.
I mean, I really like this. Again, this is one of the first Belgian beers that I had. So there is a kind of small group of restaurants. It's not a chain, but the Lowlands, I think, is what the parent company is. But they have Cafe Hollander, Cafe Central, Benelux are kind of three of the main restaurants that they have in the Milwaukee area that are they all have sort of like this Benelux, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg type vibe with pretty good beer selections, I would say, and also like that type of food. Benelux specifically used to have this huge book of beer. So they must have had like 50 taps or something like that. And would go there and you'd look through the beer and they had a description for all of them but they had Chimay White. They had I'm gonna butcher this, but it's like the Quack beer, I think it was what it is.
Oh, yeah,
It
yeah.
comes in like it looks like a chemistry set almost, the glass that it's served in. And that was the first time I ever had Chimay in general, like this brewery, this beer. And yeah, I mean, I really liked it. So part of it is just early on in my beer drinking time, what I drank as a Belgian beer is what I more associate to the Belgian style. So therefore, I think that this is very much a great classic, again, Trappist beer, Belgian style beer. I like it a lot. I do think it is the best of the Chimays of the red, white, and blue. Also why it's probably the most popular. As Cole mentioned earlier, right, we're getting progressively darker. This one is definitely darker in color. It's more brown than, the last one I think was a little bit more red. And before that was more golden.
Gold,
And it was
yeah.
a little bit darker than golden.
I'd say it was
like
gold.
It was like more of like a
More of
toasted
like a-
gold.
Like a heavy on the vitamin B or a light on the vitamin B?
No,
What's
not
vitamin
that at
B?
all.
Color.
When you take vitamin B, or P is like neon.
All right, so I was getting to that. I was like, this has to be about pea color. Okay, understood.
So I enjoy this though, but it's part of it is the nostalgia of the beer. I drank it first at an easier time in life, and it just reminds me of the great drunk that you get off of Belgian ales.
It is such a.
And like the
I really do enjoy the drunk.
It
it's
is
like the summertime when
Eric's
the sun
face.
sets late and you kind of get a buzz going really early because they're so heavy.
But it's really warm. It's like you feel warm on the inside a little bit, and Eric's stomach
feel
is like
happy.
churning. And
No.
He runs to the.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's not that. It's the Belgian beer, the after Belgian Beer Fest, where we just.
Did we go to that?
No, I didn't go that with you, but that was the one time we broke into Johnny B's apartment. Where we
That was a
broke-
Belgian beer fest.
Belgian Beer
Oh my
Fest.
god.
It's fucking nuts. But all I could think of was when Christina was like, "Well, between the red, white, and blue." Immediately I was like, "All the funny things you do, America, America.
America.
This is you."
Fuck yeah. Here to save the motherfucking day now.
Hey, you not know the original America's Funniest Home Videos theme
Yeah.
song with
Off
Bob
the top of
Saget?
my head.
Not the Scott
Oh.
version that they use now.
No.
What? No, with Bob Saget.
With Bob Saget.
For
America's
the red,
Dad.
white, and blue, for all the funny things you do, America,
Oh, yeah.
America, this is you. Dun, 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 bow. That's
And then it goes directly into all the VHS recordings where you see who actually changed the date and who didn't.
and all the people that got hit in the nuts by
I've
things.
never noticed that before, Cole.
Yeah,
People change the date because they want to get on to the. Oh shit!
it was $10,000 in the '90s,
Yeah.
and all you had to
Yeah,
do is be
dude.
like, "I already did this. What do you think?"
What's crazy
it in,
is
and-
that show still exists in the day of YouTube.
What?
It does
Yeah,
because
with Carlton, he's the
Yeah,
host.
Who's
Yeah.
Carlton?
The guy from
Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince, the brother or the cousin
Carlton.
in Fresh
Yeah.
Prince of Bel-Air.
Carlton.
Well, on that note,
Not a person.
with the next pick in the draft, Cole, with a huge spite, said, "Fuck you guys, I'm going home." He picked.
I just opened the top with a bottle.
He opened his.
Sorry, I thought about. I was going to interrupt you, and then I decided I probably shouldn't have. But
No, that was good. He opened his twist off cap
Screw
with a bottle, the bottle
With a
opener,
bottle opener.
Just to
Hey,
be
I did the
classy.
same thing.
God damn it!
yeah,
With
let's
the
go.
third pick in the 9th round, Cole chose Coors Brewing's Blue Moon Belgian White.
So we didn't.
Cheers.
Cheers. We didn't say that we were a exclusively craft brew podcast, but I did find this in the craft brew aisle.
It is a craft beer. It just was bought by Coors.
Yeah,
Coors.
but by the guy who's like This is what I did. And you always see him on the baseball commercials. He's like, it started with an idea, and then it ended with a beer. Fuck off. Started with a beer and ended with a beer.
If you go to like Miller's Brewery Tour here in Milwaukee, they talk about Blue Moon specifically, and like who is it, like the girl in the moon and whatnot. So from an advertising perspective, that they distinctly disassociated Blue Moon with the larger brand so that it kept that craft beer feel and still appealed to that particular buyer or market.
So
That was an active decision for them. Why you might find it in the craft beer section.
So I think most of America probably doesn't realize that this is considered a Belgian, but if they did, this would probably be the one beer that most of Americans would know.
It says Belgian white right on the label.
Yeah, but,
but
can Americans read? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, this is the run of the mill. This is like America's Belgian. I mean, honestly, is there another Belgian beer brewed in America outside of like, what's been growing in the craft industry, but like widely known Belgian beer in America? I think this is the only one I can think of off the top of my head. So I feel like it's only appropriate to have Blue Moon be a part of this, out of spite or otherwise, because here's America's this is America's entry.
out of spite or otherwise.
We got to dig up the comment or that clip of recording of what Cole said when he picked this beer.
The ends justify the means.
So this beer is good. It's for what it is and what it represents. It's surprisingly good. The thing that I don't like about it is how much the coriander comes through and not enough of the other flavors. Mm-hmm. And I think that's always been the problem that I've had with Blue Moon. But otherwise, it's popular. People love it. It's not a bad beer, but I think they got the flavor ratios wrong. And that's really my only gripe. I think if they fixed it, people would probably, lose their shit. But also, it would be better.
And I would say this is actually a Canadian-American beer.
No,
it's not straight American. Molson's is owned by Canada.
No, I know, but it was
Jeez.
started
Now
here.
we're just
Started in America. It's always been an American brand. Molson just was like, let me yoink that.
Let me yoink that.
I think this is so. I have a story about this beer. When I was seeing somebody in college, when I was still in college, he had a whole bunch of different types of beer. And I was like, pick me something like interesting. I don't know. And he comes back with a Blue Moon. He's like, I think you'll like this. And I knew what he had. Like, he had so much more to choose from. And I was just like, oh, thanks.
What do you have to choose from?
I don't know. It was like Rogue. Rogue was a huge thing
What?
for some reason in
Yeah, Rogue. You didn't offer
that
your Rogue.
area. Yeah, no Rogue. No, it was just like, well, if you think my palate is this terrible, I guess. But not to say anything about, the beer itself. It is pretty good, but
I'm glad you dumped him.
not.
Aren't we all?
It's not what I would have. I didn't. It's not what I would have. It's not what I would have picked for myself. But I feel like it is that beer that people will go to be like, it's interesting enough where they'll be impressed.
It's a very good craft gateway beer.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Right? Like if
That's
you go out
definitely
with
one of the best
someone
ways
who
to
doesn't
summarize it,
drink
yeah.
craft
Right.
beer and this is available and they're not sure what to get, you start them off with this.
Exactly.
And it kind of opens up the expanse of, okay, what else
Possibilities.
what else is there to drink, right? That's probably
Totally.
where this falls in the lexicon of craft beer. So it does have its place.
Oh yeah,
Right.
this beer is the beer of choice for my singer in the band because he's like, I think the orange coats my throat. Honestly, he sounds great whenever he drinks Blue Moon. We're like, okay,
Keep going.
keep going.
Just a shout out to your lead singer.
Oh yeah,
This
shout
one's
out.
for you.
I had one with him last night.
I do agree
was awesome.
with you though, Eric, that the coriander is definitely strong in this and sort of overtakes it. As I said, this beer's got its place.
It does.
So according to Wikipedia, this beer was originally called Belly Slide Belgian White. I don't know why they changed the name because that is pretty dope.
I wasn't sure where you're going with that.
Okay.
Belly slide. Well,
Belly
it's
slide.
because it was a brewer at the Sandlot Brewery at Coors Field, so that kind of makes sense. But still,
Oh.
That's right. That's right. It started at Coors Field. That's what the commercials.
Yep.
And they're like, baseball brewed this beer. And I was like, I think a brewer brewed it.
okay.
Baseball brewed this beer.
Anything's possible.
So thoughts, Christina?
It's okay. It's pretty good. It's I mean, for what it is. We bought it as a single bottle for a reason. Side story, my sister when she was still dating, my mom of all people set her up with this one guy.
Still dating your mom?
I know.
My mom of all people.
She for some reason agreed to go on a date with someone my mom set her up with, and they go to this bar that had all sorts of great craft beers on draft, and the guy orders a Blue Moon. And he gets it in a bottle, and then he proceeds to, with the glass on the table, just pour the beer into the glass, and it went everywhere. And my sister was like, my mom is never setting me up with someone ever again. He has so many great beers to choose from, and he chose a Blue Moon, and then he doesn't even know how to pour a beer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
all right, that's my sister's dating criteria. And then she married an Irishman who definitely knows.
Who knows how to pour beer like
Yeah.
pro?
So that's basically what I think of that story constantly whenever I think of Blue Moon. But I mean, it's good. It's consistent. So
I hope so.
You got to give it that.
High production quantity. I hope it's consistent.
Damn. All right. Well, moving right along here, we've got a waiver wire pickup from Erin because all of her flex spots were
Unavailable.
not just unavailable; they were gone.
On the IR list.
They were forced to retire.
Forced to retire.
Yeah, something like that. So Erin picked up a waiver wire.
Do we want to list off some of her IR beers? just
Honorable
for
shout
our-
out.
Oh man.
Yeah, for our listeners.
One of my more memorable ones, because I remember it, is the Weyerbacher Mole Stout,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
I would
yeah.
have loved to share with all of you, but it's
Can't remember the last time I had a Weyerbacher beer in general.
oh man.
Yeah, they've been getting phased out. But there was that, and then there was another. So she did choose another beer by this particular brewery that we're having now. She chose Brewery Bavana's Bright.
For the sour.
Yeah, which is not available when we went down there to see them, nor available to find since. However, she has chosen with her flex spot and the very last thing that we're going to do for the entire draft.
I chose the Brewery Bavana Sprout, which is a Belgian with fig. It's a double. Dubel?
I'm pretty excited about this beer.
Me too.
So tell us,
I really love fig. So
tell us about Brewery Bavana. And why you
Oh,
chose them.
Brewery Bavana is a must-go brewery destination spot in Raleigh, North Carolina. All of their beers are well thought out flavor profile wise, but they also have a dumpling.
Oh, yeah. Their restaurant.
Their restaurant is basically they sell dumplings and steamed dumplings
oh,
and
it's a, yeah.
that's it.
Steam-
Banh mi,
bao buns.
bao buns.
Banh
Banh mi,
Not
banh
banh
mi.
mi.
No, bao buns,
Bao
bao buns.
buns. And it is delicious. Their flavors are amazing. Their food is so good
They
and clean. And their atmosphere is like walking into a vacation spot, basically. Like you're entered into like this very clean space, the very clean bar, very opposite of the dank, dark basement.
Vol de Nuit.
Vol de Nuit. It's a beautiful spot. Great beers. Everything they do is amazing. Their sours are delicious. But so I thought I would showcase them in one way or another. And I was hoping it'd be in their sours, but they also do a Belgian.
They did a Belgian stout when we were there, which was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
This place does a great job. If you have a chance to go, please stop in. I get some bao buns and some beers, and it's fantastic.
Some dumplings.
I find this beer really fascinating. The nose on it, like it's weird. It kind of reminds me of I can't really put my finger on it. It's some type of alcohol. Like it smells really boozy, and
It
I
could
think
be
that's just
beer.
the figs.
Is it
Oh, yeah,
Chambord?
No, it's 7.6%? Yeah,
No,
7.6.
no.
No,
It's not super
the
boozy.
liqueur you're thinking of, is it like Chambord? Like the
Oh, maybe. Actually, yeah, maybe.
No, Chambord's more of a
again-
berry, but that's the first thing that kind of maybe is in the similar taste profile.
Yeah, or like amaretto.
Yeah.
That's almonds.
Yeah, but
Maybe a
No,
smidge.
not amaretto. Yeah, no. I'm thinking of something else that maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But yeah, regardless, I think it's the figs. It smells boozy, but it's not boozy on the nose. And then when I drink it, I feel like I get a lot of the fig. I get a lot of the fruity flavor to it with a little bit of the alcohol. It's not very yeasty like the rest of them.
it is
in
a
my
little
opinion.
yeasty though.
Yeah, but it's not
Yeah.
overly yeasty. It's not like, I think most of these, like I said before, like a loaf of sourdough almost. This is more, I guess, refreshing. Not that
Loaf.
the Belgians aren't super refreshing, but this is a little more refreshing. This is a little bit closer to the Island Rascal than like just drinking a Belgian, in my opinion. I think it's good.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say more because you were like,
Christina, what do you think?
It's very different than what we've had in terms of like the flavor. I feel like it's a lighter style. The booze comes in more with some of the other ones that we've drank. That really highlights the flavors more versus this one. I feel like it's lighter for it being. I think it's also the other ones are triples, right? And this is only a double. Sorry.
Tripel.
Dubel.
The Belgians are starting to get to me, so my mind's moving a little slower now. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. I like it. I like the fig. I think fig in general is just a really underrated fruit, and I think it should be used more often. It's kind of a nice nuance to this beer. It's lighter than the Chimay, probably a little bit lighter than the Golden Drac. It's good.
I think Scott just sent out that alcohol. I think it's more of like a cognac. I think that's what I was looking for, was a cognac.
Oh, I like this beer. It gives a twist, but not a terribly outside the box twist. Like, I think Island Rascal was more of an outside the box twist, which I liked. Like I said, start with your second best song, end with your best song. I think that the fig is a really good take without stepping too far outside the box. But overall, I think it's a pretty good beer. And if you get a chance to go to Brewery Bavana, please go. It's fantastic.
I'm not a big fig fan, so that does throw me for a little
what
bit of
about
loop.
figs don't you like? That's
It's just
interesting.
Newton?
No, it's one of those weird flavors I'm just not a fan of. Like, I don't mind it. It's just not something like I'll actively get or like enjoy. Like, if it's in things, I don't mind it, but it's not like
Fig's been used to add a lot of sugar content to like natural food.
So yeah, so I think in this case this beer tends, at least for me, to be slightly on the sweeter side compared to a lot of the other ones we drank today. So not being a fan of overly sweet to begin with, just a slight knock for me at least on this one. Other than that, it is a good beer still.
I was excited to dig into this beer months ago, but I couldn't.
So with that ends season 1 of our fantasy draft. And Scott, shall we tally up the points?
Yeah, we'll tally up the points really quick to see which beer wins week 7, and then we'll do the tallies to see who wins the season.
All right.
Ooh.
All right, so we'll start off with Avery Brewing's Island Rascal, drafted by Christina. Eric, what did you give it?
19.
I gave it a 17. Aaron
16?
and Cole.
19.
So 71 points for Island Rascal. Next up, we'll do Delirium Tremens, which was drafted by Eric. Cole.
18.
Christina.
19.
Aaron.
19.
I gave it a 19 as well. So 75. We'll do Golden Drac. Eric.
18.
Cole.
20.
Christina.
18.
And Aaron.
20. Sorry, 20.
20.
I heard that come out of me and I was like, oh, that didn't give it justice. 20.
The color is good.
Next, we will do Aaron's pick of Chimay Blue. Eric.
18.
Cole.
17.
Christina.
19.
And I give it a 17, which will be 71 points. We'll jump to Cole's pick of Blue Moon. Eric.
16.
Christina.
16.
Aaron?
14.
Oh, God.
I give it a 16 as well.
You guys are tough.
So a 62.
I had a rating system.
And then
This is like when Scott did Old Rasputin.
we'll do Brewery Bravana's Sprout for Aaron, Eric,
17.
Cole,
18.
Christina.
18.
And I gave that a 16
Oh.
for a 69. Nice. The weekly rankings for week 7, Golden Drac wins with a 76. Delirium Tremens in second with a 75. Tie for third between Island Rascal and Chimay Blue. Brewery Bravana Sprout in fifth. And then Blue Moon wraps it up in 6th place for the week.
I
So
feel like this is like Mario Party at the end of Mario Party where you're like, everybody's clapping and we're like, yeah.
So there is some changes in the rankings.
Yeah.
People have made up ground. People have slid back. The winner of season 1 Fantasy Beer Draft, Aaron,
Whoa.
with 575 points.
Wow. Look at that.
Second place is myself at 564 points. Christina, you come in third place with 563.
Whoa.
Cole, fourth place, 562.
No way.
And
Yeah, Blue Moon
Eric,
got me.
547. Rounding out. I think what did you win was your skunked beer.
Yeah,
it
that's
definitely-
what it was.
No, it definitely was. I'm not disputing that. I think it makes for good content.
It's your IR.
I agree.
It's your injured player.
No, it's fun to watch, like, the guy who's been running it the whole time fall to last place. It is kind of fun.
I mean, I went to second to last place in this one because of Blue Moon.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, we
Cole,
played
this
by the
is the-
rules. I think that's honorable, right? We're judging these beers accurately, and I still think the goal of this was to bring to light some really fantastic beers in a quick number of episodes for our listeners, and we did that. So I hope
Yeah.
our listeners enjoy that. The 10 that you are.
We actually have a lot more than that at this point.
How many are real, though?
I don't know.
it doesn't matter.
I think it'd be higher if it was bots. Thank you for listening to the Beer Draft. We will be returning back to our normally scheduled programming of Dungeons and Dragons and craft beer reviews after this. We will hopefully be doing this again next year. We'll be hopefully more organized and we'll be cleaner. We'll have better rules in place, hopefully.
Yeah, does anybody have any better ideas on how to do this? Please send them along. We'd love to hear them and just, either do them or not.
Or other genres, or
Oh, yeah.
If there's a beer
types
style,
that
yeah,
they want the next time. Yeah.
let us know. Follow us on Instagram. If you're listening to this, you're clearly following us on a podcast channel. Join our Discord.
Yeah.
Other than that, thanks for listening. This has been a Widgety Widgets production.